first commentary I'm going to bring you is out of Knoxville, Tennessee, pertaining to Latawyne, Osbourne, and three other suspects that aided him in a very heinous crime here in Knoxville, Tennessee against a Danishka Mieja and two other victims who were shot in the same house with this young lady. There are now upgraded charges for the men and the mother, his mother, Ms. Greenberg, and I will bring you that information. WBIR News 10 is the source. Thank you for joining me.
Murder and rape, all connected to the killing of a 22-year-old Knoxville woman. Danishka Mieja was killed Friday at a home in South Knoxville, just one day after reporting she'd been raped by one of the men now accused of the murder.
Police describe her death as heinous. They have yet to release just how she died, but 10 News reporter Krista Lucas joining us with the very latest on this investigation. Krista.
John Robin, right now, 4 people are charged in this case. Latawyne, Osbourne, and 2 other men are accused of raping Danishka Mieja the day she was killed. Osbourne's mother, Angela Greenberg, also is accused of tampering with evidence. Records show it wasn't the only attack on Mieja. Days before she was killed, she reported Osbourne had raped her in his home. According to police records, on Monday, April 1st, Osbourne picked up Mieja from work, took her to his home on Walker Street, where she told police she took 2 shots of liquor and blacked out. The report says she woke up the next day and noticed something was wrong. She told police on April 4th she was raped, and then the next day police found Mieja dead on the basement floor of a home on Gilbert Lane in South Knoxville. On the day she was found dead, 2 other people were found at the Gilbert Lane home suffering gunshot wounds. Separately, Osbourne went to UT Medical Center for treatment from a shooting. This week, the Knox County Grand Jury returned a 49-count indictment against Crystal Hickey. Yes, Robin. Those counts include aggravated burglary and kidnapping. The documents also say Osbourne and co-defendant Edward Wilson are known members of a gang that has committed crimes for years.
And that is a large number of counts. We'll see where this case goes. Krista, thank you. And we're learning more about how that victim died. Police said in a briefing Wednesday they don't think it was from a gunshot. So we appreciate your reporting, Krista.
And our team coverage does continue at this point as we work to learn more about the woman police say is murdered. 10 News reporter Maria Guzman joins us from the newsroom with what she has learned about this young victim. Maria.
Yes, John Robin, we're still working to piece together information about the victim. As of right now, we know very few details about her. We just learned that Danishka attended the Carter High School. A former coach of hers says she played volleyball all 4 years there. We know she was 22 years old. Friends and loved ones knew her as Tita, and messages of Danishka's have been pouring in Spanish and English on social media. Now, friends of her are honoring her life tonight. They will be holding a memorial at 7:30 tonight at Victor Ashe Park. We will bring you more details in her life tonight at 11. John Robin.
Maria Guzman on that update. Thank you, Maria.
All right, everyone. That's updated information that I somehow missed. Sorry about that. So let's recap what was said. The baffling part about this story, besides, the death of the woman, rape of the woman, 2 other people shot, is they won't reveal how she died. And they make sure to put this in the caption of the article. Truly a heinous crime. So how did she die? We also hear that these other 2 cohorts with Mr. Latawyne also sexually assaulted her. So we now hear he picked her up, took her to his home. She drank 2 shots of liquor, blacked out, woke up, realized something was wrong, filed a police report against Latawyne, and now we're hearing the other guys assaulted her. So were they also at the house when she blacked out? Okay? Were there other people in the home when she was drinking? When she woke up, who was there? And why were those other people not mentioned in her police report? I'm very curious to know that. You're also going to hear new information about an unborn child. That's why there's added charges to some of the men in the storyline. How was she murdered? Was she beat to death? Because when they say it doesn't appear that she was shot, then you have to ask the other means of death would be what? Asphyxiation, strangulation, a stabbing, blunt trauma, or a beating? Did they beat her to death? Who shot Latawyne? Because he also went to the hospital with a gunshot wound. 2 other people in the house were shot. Who are those 2 other people? It's a guy and a girl. They are 23 years of age. Were they related, or are they related to the victim, Miss Danishka? Who are those 2 people? Will they also come forward and tell us what happened in that house? Here are the latest developments. The Knoxville Police Department said a total of 4 people were indicted in the death of 22-year-old woman whose body was found in a South Knoxville home on April 5th. During a press conference on Wednesday, Chief Paul Noel said officers found the body of Danishka Melina Sibiha Miha while responding to a home on Gilbert Lane. And when you go to her Facebook page, you'll see her name under Danishka Melina. 10 News has learned more about Miha through friends and family who knew her. She attended Carter High School and played volleyball there for 3 years, according to her former coach, Dwayne Cupp. He coached her during her freshman and sophomore years before he retired. KPD said they found 2 other gunshot victims inside the home on Gilbert Lane, and both were 23 years of age. While officers were at the scene, another suspect appeared at a hospital with a gunshot wound who turned out to be suspect indicted on Wednesday, Latawyne Osbourne. KPD said 3 people are now facing felony murder charges in relation to Miaha's death, and a 4th person is facing charges for tampering with evidence and accessory after the fact, and that would be Osbourne's mother. 10 News obtained the Knox County grand jury indictment on Thursday. The grand jury returned a 49-count indictment on Wednesday against the 4, identifying the 2 other victims in this case as Kasha Young and DeAndre Thaxton. Finally, we get the other names. Okay. The charges came just days after Miaha was found dead. The people and their charges are listed below. Latawyne, Osbourne, 39. Felony murder, first-degree murder, aggravated burglary, attempted first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated rape, arson. I did not hear of arson when I first brought you this story. So now we get new charges of arson and also sexual assault by the other 2 males. Okay? Edward Wilson, 31, felony murder, first-degree murder, aggravated burglary, attempted first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated rape, arson. Marquise Ellis, 20, he's the youngest one in the group. Felony murder, first-degree murder, aggravated burglary, attempted first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated rape, arson. Angela Greenberg, 59, accessory after the fact, tampering with evidence. Miss Angela Greenberg is the mother of Latawyne, who is the oldest one of this group at 39. I will now show you a photograph of the 3 suspects with these arson, burglary, kidnapping, murder charge, attempted murder, kidnapping. The list goes on. Thank you for joining me. Latawyne, sorry about that, is in the middle. He is the oldest. The first suspect you see with the jumper, with the messed up hair, he's the youngest one. And then the one with the braids, he's 31. So we have a 20-something-year-old, 39-year-old, 31-year-old. It's all baffling. Latawyne's 39, Edward Wilson, 31, and Marquise Ellis, 20. What are you all doing hanging with a 20-year-old? This is bizarre. 10 of the counts are gang-related charges that specifically focus on Osbourne and Wilson. Those are the 2 older ones. Osbourne's 39, and then Mr. Wilson is the one to my right. He's 31. Let me show you those pictures again. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you all. There you have it. In the middle is the ringleader, 39. The one with the braids, 31. They're facing the gang-related charges. Osbourne and Wilson. Gangster disciples. How about that? All right. According to the indictment, the two were part of the gangster disciples and are also facing another first-degree murder charge in the death of Young's unborn child. So Young is the other young lady who's finally been identified, who was in the home that was shot, okay? The 23-year-old female, because it was a 23-year-old male and female. We now have their names. We now learned that she was pregnant. So here's where the other charge comes in of first-degree murder of an unborn child. The two could face enhanced punishments in this case if found guilty because of the gang charges. So what are the gang charges exactly? Osbourne, Wilson, Ellis were charged with the premeditated attempt to kill Young's unborn child, according to the indictment. They are also facing arson of Mieha's home. So we now hear that they tried to set the house on fire. So where and what room did they try to set on fire? Inside or outside? This is crazy to me because I had not known of this information. That the other two guys are also facing rape charges and now also facing arson. So we got anti-charges. First, I thought it was just Osbourne assaulted the girl. She filed a report. Next day, she's dead. Two of the other people in the house shot. Now we hear that the other two people also are charged with rape, kidnapping, and now arson. This is outrageous. All right. Once again, they're all facing arson charges. Okay? Of Mieha's home on April 5th. KPD in Greenberg says Greenberg is the mother of Osbourne. Authorities said Wilson has been in custody since Monday after officers took him into custody for a warrant out of Blount County. So the 31-year-old, the one I showed you with the braids, the gangbanger, he had a charge, I guess, out of Blount County. So he was remanded over to Blount County. For something. Failure to appear, whatever that charge is. Ellis was taken into custody Tuesday for violating probation. That's the younger one. So what crime did he commit for violating probation? And Greenberg is the mother. She was taken into custody that Wednesday afternoon after the crimes, after the 5th. The police department also said Mieha's cause of death was not immediately clear, but it said it was likely she did not die from a gunshot wound. So how was she unalive? This was truly a heinous crime, Noel said during a press conference. All officers and detectives immediately identified the urgency and complexity of the situation. So, dear God, what did they see when they went in his house? Because the fact that they keep saying it's truly a heinous crime, now they're saying urgency and complexity of the situation. What did they find as evidentiary material in this home? 2 people shot. 1 person dead, and they won't reveal how she died, Miss Mieha, excuse me. And then we've got the suspect, Latawyne, going to the hospital, shot. So did he shoot himself? Maybe he had one of his gangbanger friends to shoot him, make it look like, somebody in the house tried to shoot him. Who the hell knows? Because this story is wicked. Authorities said the man who arrived at the hospital while officers were on the scene, Latawyne Osbourne, was also charged with rape in connection to a report filed by Mieha a day before she was found dead. KPD said, according to the report, the rape occurred between April 1st and April 2nd. Let's take a look at this photograph of Mr. Latawyne's mother. She's aided after the fact. So this goofy heifer here, supposed to be a mother, role model to a wayward-ass gangbanging son, grown-ass son, she now is in custody for aiding him after the fact, tampering with evidence. So, ma'am, what did you do? Buy burner phones, wash some dirty clothes, bloody clothes, hide a gun, hide him out. What happened? Angela Greenberg, Dodo Bird mother. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. That's my said update for this case. A lot of charges. Once again, photographs of the suspects. Thank you. The one with the messy hair, he's 20. Osbourne, bald-headed, 39, ringleader. And the one with the braids, 31 years of age. Osbourne, the bald-headed one, and the one with the braids are the gangster disciples. For those of you who are familiar with gangs, a bunch of punks. I grew up in Chicago, south side of Chicago. Many of you know this about the Queen. And naturally, gangster disciples were very prevalent, are still prevalent in Chicago, branched off more or less now, little miniature, what I call miniature minions of the gangster disciple gang. But gangster disciples are very prevalent in Chicago, and they have branched out naturally over the years all over the United States and here in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the general area. Nonetheless, I'm not pleased, I'm not enamored with these heathens. Gangster disciple, blood, Crips, I could care less, because why did you all get involved in this crime? That's what I'm curious about. Why did you all get involved in this crime with Osbourne? Once again, Latawyne Osbourne, 39, Edward Wilson, 31, and Marquise Ellis, 20, are all facing the same charges: felony murder, first-degree murder, aggravated burglary, attempted first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated rape, and arson. And the mother of Mr. Osbourne, Miss Greenberg, is facing tampering with evidence and after the fact, accessory after the fact, and tampering with evidence. And she is 59 years of age, Angela Greenberg. Let me say hello, everybody in the chat. 3-part live. Thank you for joining me. When you go to Facebook, if her account is still up, she was following, I keep wanting to call him Antoine, Latawyne. She was following Latawyne. Hello, everybody. Thank you. She was following Latawyne. So obviously they were friends. They knew of each other. Don't know how long they've known each other. She obviously lived in this general area, went to Carter High School, played volleyball. Very pretty young lady. Don't hear that she had any children. Thank you, Jesus. But nonetheless, she knew this guy. They hung with each other. She went to his home. They say he picked her up. I believe they said picked her up from work, I guess, to go hang out. She had 2 shots of liquor, allegedly, and blacks out. Did he put something in her drink? Did he roofie her? Were there other men there, other women there? Will we find out that there are other eyewitnesses to the crime, people who know about the crime? Was she gang raped? Because the fact that they're putting Osbourne and this other fella, Edward Wilson, under gang charges, I'm trying to figure out, is it because they're known gang members and they committed a crime together that is considered gang related? One could say, yeah, they're gang members. They went to the house to try to find the girl, kill her, whoever's in the house, kill them, witnesses, whatever. So that would be considered gang related since they're known gang members. I'm assuming that's why they're calling it gang related charges. And then the fact that Miss Young, one of the women who was there, who was shot in the house, she was also with child. So that's where we get this attempted first-degree murder charge. For her, the other guy, and then the baby, because she was pregnant. Let's go back. 49-count indictment on Wednesday against the 4, identifying the 2 other victims in this case, Katya Young and DeAndre Thaxton. The charges came just days after Mieha was found deceased. 3 black men charged with a lot of charges. And once again, it says that 10 of the counts are gang-related charges that specifically focus on Osbourne and Wilson. Those are the 2 older ones in the group, 39-year-old Osbourne, 31-year-old Wilson. According to the indictment, the 2 were part of the gangster disciples and are also facing another first-degree murder charge in the death of Young's unborn child, and they're facing enhanced punishments. In this case, they're found guilty because of the gang charges. So assumingly, because they're gang members, they were involved in crimes, it's considered gang related. So I'm not here to argue none of that. Where I'm confused is the rape charges, because I assumed it was only Osbourne that raped her. Now we have these other two black men also accused of rape. So now we're talking about crime scene over here on Walker Street, where Osbourne lived. He takes Mieha to his house. So now I got to wonder, what? Were they hiding in a closet? They were sitting there all drinking, smoking. What are we talking about? So we got crime scene over here with a rape. Then we got Gilbert Lane in South Knoxville, shootings, and possibly however else the girl died. Stay woke. Two different crime scenes. Rape on this day, over here at this house, West Knoxville. Then we go way over here across town. We're kicking in doors, holding people hostage, shooting them, killing the girl some kind of way. How did Mieha die? Did they beat the girl to death, strangle her? Why will they not reveal how she died? Are they waiting on an autopsy report? Did she have visible wounds? I'm very confused. Did she have visible wounds? Because they keep saying truly heinous. So I'm trying to figure out, was she beat to death? So then you got to ask that question. If she was beat to death, allegedly, why you beat her and not shoot her? Because it's all the same. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But what I'm saying is you shot two other people, the guy and the girl who are 23, and the girl was pregnant. She obviously lost that kid. So how far along was she pregnant? And the guy who was with her, was that her boyfriend or that's just another friend that was hanging with them? I don't know the relation between the 23-year-olds. But I do know now the 23-year-old female lost a child. She had a child. Mieha, they won't say how she died. So that's where I'm confused. What was her manner of death? Maybe they went there to torture her. Maybe they went there to torture her not to file no charges, or they knew what they did, or maybe she called or texted him and told him, hey, you raped me. Hey, I see something. I'm bleeding. I'm this. Something ain't right downtown. And then he came over there to finish her off, or maybe he went trying to talk to her. But kidnapping, burglary, that leads us to believe you what? Kicked in the door? You stole something? Because burglary is what it means, burglary. You burglarized something. So that leads us to believe you what? Kicked in the door. You kicked in the door, you stole something in that house. What is it? Kidnapping means you made the people stay in the space that they're in, whether it's 1 feet, 2 feet, doesn't matter, Tennessee law. I force you to stay in the spot that you're in, that's kidnapping. You shot the two other people who were there. What are the relations of those two people to Mieha? Did she own this house, rent this house, roommate situation? What was going on? Who else knows about this crime? Are there other cohorts, co-conspirators, or people who know about the crime? Because once again, we're talking about two separate locations. A rape on Walker Street, and then the shootings and the death of Mieha in South Knoxville on Gilbert Lane. Prayers to Danishka's family. Very nice looking young lady. Snuffed out by some punks, some thugs, wannabe gang members, gangster disciples, my ass. You don't know the first thing about being no damn gangster disciple, and I said it. I sure did say it. I said it right on this live stream. I see this all over the United States. Because as I said, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in an urban neighborhood. I used to see, the star on the wall, written, graffiti, all of that. These people have no idea, these young men, women calling themselves gang members, Crips, Bloods, whatever. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea how these gangs originated, how they came to be. You're just a $2 spinoff. And I'm not trying to glorify gangbanging, but what I'm saying is what the gangs were doing back in the days when I was growing up as a kid in Chicago in the 70s and 80s is nowhere near the bullshit you're seeing now play out in the streets with these wannabe thugs. So now guess what, Mr. Osbourne, Mr. Wilson, you can throw up all the gang signs you want right now at the Knoxville Detention Center, better known as the Penal Farm. You can throw up all the G's and this you want in there. Better hope that nobody does anything to you in there that's of an opposing gang. How about that? Because I don't know if you're going to mix well with anybody in there that's a Blood and a Crip and a Vice Lord. Oh, yeah. You didn't think about that, did you? And so all that posing and flossing on your Facebook page, talking about what you're doing, what you ain't doing, throwing up gang signs, all that was for what? Absolutely nothing. And I do believe you're involved in the murder of Jafesha Mitchell. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But she died in July of 2022, and you were a person of interest in that case. Yes, Miss Mitchell was found dead in her car in an alley in East Knoxville. I must throw that in here. So what happened to Jafesha, Mr. Osbourne? Because what are the odds you're linked to two women dead in less than 2 years? Police were investigating you, watching you. You went on a high-speed chase on the interstate, ran into somebody's apartment in Western Heights, public housing development, and there was a standoff. And who does all that if they're innocent? I'll wait. Because they were watching you because of Jafesha Mitchell's murder. And so why would they be investigating you for that murder? Help me understand. Now, I have not heard of any more arrests or any more news pertaining to Miss Mitchell's murder. She was shot as well. Uh-oh. She was shot dead in her car in an alley, and Mr. Osbourne was the person of interest. And I have not heard of another person of interest. I have not heard of anybody else being arrested. And I thought it was strange even then. And when your picture came up weeks ago, I looked at the photograph and I said, where do I know this face from? This face looks familiar. And then it hit me. Queen, you've talked about this male before on your channel. You did a video about him almost 2 years ago because he was a person of interest in another murder. And now, fast forward, April 2024, you are now arrested, charged for rape, and indicted on gang-related charges and charges for what happened in that house with Miss Danishka and her friends. How about that? Now, what are the odds of that? Yeah, okay. Next story. Veronica Butler. Thank you for joining. 3-part live, everybody. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $129 Cash App, stickers and chats. Always welcome during the live stream. Back-to-back lives today, everybody. Stay tuned. Let's hear what Mr. Cuomo has to say about Miss Butler. A friend has decided to come forward to speak on her decedent friend and how she knew her and that she feared for her safety from this hillbilly grandma, Miss Tiffany Adams. Wow, what a hot mess. All right. Well, it's taking its time to show. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
Puffy, I'm very sorry for what happened to your friend. And thank you for coming on to talk to us about it.
Thank you for having me. It's because of Laura that I came to know you guys. I met her when she was here in town.
Laura Engel, great reporter.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for making that connection. And she's the right one. She's the right one to trust. So you have said that when you heard that your friend wasn't heard from, that she was missing, you immediately had a thought that it might have something to do with the custody. Why?
Well, she had been going through a terrible battle for quite some time. I didn't know all the other parts about her getting harassed and threatened We didn't talk about that much in our conversations. But I know that she was fighting for her children.
What did she share with you about the nature of the difficulty?
She just said that she was trying to change the venue as to where it was being held. And a couple times she just said that she was going to pick up her children. Like the day before she disappeared, I saw her. She was headed out of town to get some groceries because they were going to have a little birthday party on the boat, I believe, for the child. And she was so excited to go see them and be with them. And I knew she had a court date coming up, and she was really thinking that she was going to be able to be getting her children back here with her all this time.
Did she ever betray any sense of concern or fear for her safety or the kids?
She did, but not. I was just hearing a conversation. I didn't know the grandmother. I didn't know the man. I knew of the baby daddy, but I didn't know him. I knew of the boyfriend there because he was in another case with a friend of mine, a terrible divorce case. So that's how I knew of him.
And what was the nature of what you overheard in terms of her concerns?
Just that she was scared and nothing was going her way. She would take 2 steps back or 2 steps forward and 6 steps back. There's my friend right there.
What do you want people to know about your friend? Because they've only learned about her through what ended her life. What do you want them to know about how she lived it?
I want you to know, and I'm not going to cry, she was a good person. She was young and full of adventure and full of life, and she wanted nothing more than her children to come home. She had a small business up here. I, too, have a business in this town, and we had seen each other on quite a few occasions, and she was a great person. I really miss seeing her little blue car out back of her nutrition shop every day, because that's how I knew where she was.
Buffy, I'm really sorry for your loss, and thank you for putting a description to the face that we've all been looking at for the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Can I say one more thing? I spoke
Yes,
with
ma'am.
a very close person of hers, and I said, if you could have me tell them one thing, what would you have me tell them? And she said, Veronica was never going to give up on her kids. She said, and as long as Veronica needed her, she was going to be there for her and those babies. She didn't want to come on camera. She wants to wait till all this is done, but that was someone very close to her. So
I appreciate the reporting. It is good to know.
yeah, I think we need to keep an eye out for these children in the years and the weeks and the months to come.
Exactly.
And if you think about it, all these babies, but not just these babies, but the one that came forward, the one that the 16-year-old girl that's represented in those papers, she needs to have a prayer. She needs to be covered in prayer for a long time. Not only the problems mentally that she could have, the pain, the sorrow, the guilt, whatever, but she needs to be covered in prayer. And the babies, all the babies,
No
even the
question
big
about it.
babies.
No. We've already seen that people are willing to kill in this situation, so the warning is well met. Buffy Schooley, thank you very much. The 16-year-old that she's talking about is in the reporting. A 16-year-old wound up telling the authorities about what she overheard from the adults, and the adults wound up being the ones who are now arrested. If it weren't for this kid, who knows? Brave to tell the truth about people that you love. Hey, thanks.
All right, everybody. Cuomo, News Nation. Wow, a lot to digest. So this lady has decided to come forward naturally, since everybody's arrested that we know of, to tell her relationship with Miss Veronica. She was happy to go see her children, hoping to get her children, bought groceries for a birthday party on a boat. She also speaks of knowing this other man, who I think is Mr. Cullum, who's the boyfriend of Grandma, that he was married to somebody that she knows of. They had a divorce or something. I posted that to my community board because I'm confused by that. I need to know the distance from where they lived in Kansas to the location of Grandma's house. Because I'm trying to figure out, how does she know somebody who was married to him? This is where I'm confused. So where does that lady live? Because she lived in Kansas with Veronica. Baby daddy, grandmama, all them lived in Oklahoma. She knows of somebody who's been married to Mr. Cullum. So explain to me how. How do you know her, and where is she? And how did you meet her to know her? And where's that woman? And is she going to ever come forward to tell us anything about her relationship with the defendant, who has now been arrested with Grandma and 2 other people, the Twombeys? What are the Twombeys' relationship with these people? We're also getting information about some hee-haw ass group they were a part of, because I got to go ahead and play that content as well. Forgot to put it in the title because I have a 3-part live today. This is such a bizarre story. Please check out my live from yesterday where I give you the business, the B-I-Z on these fools. These hillbilly lumberjack ass folks. These are nothing but some old sour ass rednecks. I said it. I get tired of these stories. I'm just going to be truthful with you. I get tired of talking about street people. The story with Danishka, them black ass bums, they're no different than these white folks here, okay? A bum's a bum. You could be a Mexican bum, a black bum, a white bum. Y'all the same to me. These are street people. What I'm discussing at this current moment about this white woman being murdered with this state worker, another white lady, about some other white trash, this is so sickening, because this is what you have walking around here. This is why I keep trying to tell people, you have to be careful the company you keep. You have to be careful the people you're around. Just like with the story with Danishka. Nice looking girl, don't know what she did for a living, but just imagine, she's a nice, she's working, she's living, she's doing her thing, and then she gets herself tangled up with this black ass bum, him and his nappy headed ass fucking friends, and now she's dead. And then another girl, she's lost her baby, got shot, she could have died, her and that other boy could have died. Now you go way over here out west to Oklahoma and Kansas, and it's the same old hillbilly bullshit. I tell you, I can't stand being around folks that this is all they care about is bullshit. This is why I thank the Lord I didn't have to do all this baby daddy drama bullshit, because I made sure not to. That's why when I look at other people's lives, I'm going to go here in this live, because I need to give somebody the business, because somebody needs to fucking hear it. Because you got to lead by example. This is how you get yourself caught up in drama. See, that's what people don't seem to understand about true crime. A lot of the stories are eerily similar. They could be wealthy, well-off, poor, working class, live in a trailer, live in a mansion. They're eerily similar. You know why they're similar? Because of the choices the people have made by the fucking company they keep. Now, you can say to yourself, well, I didn't do nothing. I didn't, that ain't got nothing to do with the people you hanging around with. The people you keep a company with, they are the problem. And sadly, sometimes, you may not see the signs that the people are crazy, that they're wicked, that they want to put a little, Mickey in your drink, or your husband is putting cyanide in your coffee, or antifreeze in your tea. You see where I'm going with this? Because you don't know people. It's called blind trust. Every case I've talked about in 2 days is about blind trust. A black girl is now dead in Milwaukee because she went on a date with a dirty white man who had a sex dungeon, tortured her, dismembered her, and threw her out in public parks in fucking Milwaukee. She had a whole life ahead of her, 19 years of age. Do you see the similarities? Danishka, 22, hooks up with this dirty ass wannabe gangster disciple out of Knoxville, right here in my playground. Now she's gone. The other two who got shot, they're lucky to be alive. Now we go way over here to Kansas. White woman trying to get her kids back. Baby daddy in rehab. Damn junkie. Got a crazy ass mama. She got the kids, she don't want to give them back. She don't want this woman to see the children. Then you see the intricate plan she put into motion. Calling the state worker, telling her, oh, take some weeks off. Like she worked for the damn state office. And the stupid worker don't go and backtrack. Well, why do you want me to take off? What's going on? The mother not coming to see the children? What's the 411? You don't even go check. Then you got the Twombies. Some more hillbilly ass trash that know Mr. Cullum and Miss Adams. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? All of them gator trash. Straight gator, gutter trash. Probably sitting around all day, smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, talking about how the hell they can blow up shit. Because these are those kind of people. Those anti-government, mad at the world. They probably racist too. They probably don't even like black people, Hispanic people, Jewish people. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Probably got 50, 60 rifles and ammunition. So hell yeah, the government went in there strong because they didn't know what the hell they were dealing with. These are the kind of people who are living by you. These are the people living next door to you. These are the people living in your neighborhood. These are the people living on the land here in the United States. Crazy, whack-ass people who don't have nothing to do, nothing to focus on. They have no goals, nothing. See, people like this, I don't even worry about them. You know why? Because they're irrelevant to me. They're irrelevant to me. You see people getting all riled up over stuff like this. Oh, they don't want to pay their taxes. They don't want to pay the IRS. They're standing outside with their rifles and their guns. Let them. That's what I keep trying to tell people. People like this, they become news stories because they are wayward. Just like the 3 bums I just showed you here in Knoxville, wannabe gangbangers. Where are they right now? At the penal farm. Where the fuck they should be. These gator trash here, where are they? Oh, did you say something? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're in jail. The trash, bottom feeders. Lonely ass people with no direction, no goals. Don't you see this gator trash out here in Oklahoma? It's no different than this black trash out here throwing up gang signs. I'm a G, I'm a this, oh, yeah, you in jail too. How about that? So you got this radical group over here in Oklahoma, probably some old white racist trash, locked up, ain't getting out, probably gonna face the death penalty. Ding, 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 did you hear that, Grandma? Bet your eyes gonna get big when they bring that indictment for a fucking going to the electric chair. Needle to the arm. Better be glad you ain't in Idaho. Firing squad. All for what? Some kids that don't belong to you. Now, I'm not here to say who Veronica Butler was. Maybe she wasn't a good mother in her past. Maybe she let the wrong kind of people be around her children. Maybe her brother did sexually assault her children. I don't know. And I'm not here to argue any of that. The point is, this woman and her boyfriend and associates had no business unaliving her and that state worker. That's the point. Same thing here in Knoxville. The girl filed rape charges against you, Mr. Osbourne. You should have went to court and fought your case. Not go over there gangbuster style with your little gangbanging ass associates and shoot these people and torture this woman, kill her, and shoot these other 2 people. Now, you'll probably spend the rest of your life in penitentiary, you and your little ugly ass friends and your stupid ass mama I don't know what they'll do to her. She'll probably cry and oh, it's my son. I love him, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do anything. All of you trash. And as I said in my live yesterday, you know, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. But you have to decide to yourself what you are willing to lose your freedom over. Because as I said, there are people who pop off of anything. And this group seems like that type. They're mad at the world. They're vengeful. They don't mind taking an eye for an eye. Because right now we don't know if the allegations are true about sexual assault against the children. I don't know. And I'm not here to argue it because if there's no receipt, I'm not here to go back and forth about allegations of sexual assault. Bring me a receipt. And even with the receipt, you still had no right to kill those 2 women. That's for the judge to decide what to do about Miss Butler's rights as a mother. Same with your TikTok ass son. He gets to quietly hide in the shadows in rehab, allegedly. So I also like to know his role. Rick, did you know about this crime? Who else knew about this crime? Because what did I tell you in the live yesterday? This is scary when you can get other people to go along with murder. It's the same bullshit that's with these gangbangers. Osbourne goes and gets 2 other thugs to go assault this woman and her friends in the house. Then he gets his mother to get involved at the end. Say, whoa. Go across the country. This old gator ass trash. They did the same damn thing. Oh, I don't want to have the kids. Somebody molested the kids. I gotta do something. Help me. Help me, help me. She can't win. She can't get custody. Now ain't nobody got custody. Ding, ding, ding. Dodo birds. Tiffany, you ain't got custody. Your son ain't got custody. Veronica ain't got custody. And your ass getting ready to fucking die in a prison, your old ass. You just an old, stupid lady. An old, stupid, 54-year-old hag. Did you see your mugshot? You look old for 54. And you're just 1 year older than Queen. But you look bad. Because that's the point. You ain't been living right. If you could easily murder a mother for whatever reason, what type of mother were you to these children? Bingo card. The Twombies. You're sitting here going home, spewing that stupid ass nonsense around your 16-year-old child. Yeah, let me check y'all asses too. You sitting here spewing this fucking nonsense around your 16-year-old. She's sitting here listening to this bullshit that you're talking about what's going on with this kid. These kids over here. It has nothing to do with you. It wasn't your fight. It wasn't your right. And now 16-year-old, she ain't got no damn parents. Because they're stupidly in the sheriff's department aiding the boyfriend and grandma. So now I gotta ask, who else knows about the plot? Because you all are gonna be sick if you find out somebody else knows. This is what I'm saying. It's bad enough we got one person that commits a crime. So we think. Then you find out, oh no, there's more people involved. Just like in the beginning when this story first came out, I didn't want to touch it because I knew it was going to be grimy. As soon as I heard she was fighting for custody, I said, I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about it because I get tired of these type of stories. I don't like stories about children. I don't really care to keep talking about people being unalive every day. It's daunting and it weighs on my spirit. And it's just, to me, it's almost becoming pointless. Because the behavior to talk about it, to me, it's like you are inviting the omen in. And a lot of you don't really realize that. But when you talk about true crime every day, you better think about what you're claiming. Because if you ever had any, if your ears are open A lot of the people who are dead, they like true crime. Okay? Let me say that. The Idaho 4, Kaylee girl liked listening to Olivia. Well, what does Olivia talk about? Because she don't talk about sunshine and roses. The woman down in Memphis, school teacher, running at night on the University of Memphis campus with earbuds on, wasn't paying attention that somebody was watching her, a black man. He kidnapped her, raped her, beat her, murdered her, and dumped her behind an abandoned house in Memphis. What do you think she probably was listening to while she was running? Okay? What do you think that school teacher was listening to while she was running? Probably a true crime podcast. So you have to be careful what you imbibe, because you can claim this bullshit talking about it every day. That's why I don't want to talk about true crime, because I feel like you can invite the devil in. You know, having bad dreams, bad premonitions, there's a reason for that. Just like when I went live yesterday talking about this crime, I had a deja vu moment. Do you know what that is? That's a moment where you realize you've been in the story before. Because I have. Because I've dreamt this moment about Veronica Butler in a dream. So when I was going live yesterday, something that was said in the broadcast hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said to myself, I said, wait a minute. You've been here before. You damn right. Because I've dreamt it at some point in life. And as I'm repeating the stuff and reading the stuff back to you all, I realized I've spoke the very words that I'm hearing in the broadcast and in the articles, because more than likely I have dreamt this bullshit. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. You don't be in those predicaments for nothing. Because the more you talk about this bullshit, you are inviting Satan in. And that's how I feel. That's why I said all these stories are eerily similar. And they're sickening. Because you don't know people. And a lot of times we're very judgmental when we hear these stories about, oh, she went here, she did this. If I was to tell you half of the things I've done in my life, the situations I put my own self in, I'm lucky to be here myself. I don't tell all my business on a live stream. Why would I do that? The point I'm trying to make to you is you could be a Veronica Butler. You might end up being a Tiffany Adams. You might end up being the Twombies. You might be a Danishka Mieha. You might end up being a Latawyne Osbourne by the choices that you make. Because that's what you got to understand about true crime. All these people we're talking about and listening to, they're walking around doing the same shit you're doing. Looking at a podcast, looking at a video, looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram, looking at X. The next thing you know, they're on the fucking news. Or they're sitting here sucking down on a rifle or a barrel of a gun. Because you have to be careful of your blueprint. This is a horrible story. Danishka's story is horrible. She made the mistake of hanging with a thug, and now she's dead. And her two friends or whoever they are, they're lucky to be alive. Now we got 4 people in custody for rape, attempted murder, burglary, arson, kidnapping. Fast forward over here, Kansas, Oklahoma. 2 women are dead, 4 people in custody. 2 children don't have a mother or a father, and a 16-year-old is probably in the state's care. And the judge ain't gonna trust nobody to keep her either. Do you all see what I'm saying here? Now, who is the judge gonna give these 2 little children custody to? He wouldn't trust nobody. He or she, whoever the judge is. And as you heard Cuomo say about the 16-year-old, thank God she came forward and told, and they used her. Cleaned the truck. Ain't no telling what else they had her doing. But this is what's so sick. Twombies are connected to these people. We're talking about two sets of people. A couple who would go do a crime with these people, all because she's listening to gossip from this stupid grandmother. For all we know, the shit she told her are lies. We don't even know what she's told this woman and her husband. Imagine that. And you stupidly would listen and go help her kill these two people. Now you got to ask about the boyfriend. What type of past does he have? Grandma, what type of past does she have? The son, what type of past does he have? The Twombies, what type of past do they have? Exactly. And they're all rearing children. How about that? They're all rearing children. And they had no business with custody of kids. None of them had the right to children. You would go out here and murder somebody off some bullshit. You have no right having custody of nobody. Let's hear the latest bullshit with who these people are. Because there's more nonsense. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Last subject will be Riley Strain. Wow, wow, wow. Let me see if I played this or not. What I'm about to play you is what I just said. I hope won't happen. We now have information that there will possibly be more people arrested in the murder of Veronica and Jillian. News Nation is the source, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Sweet Jesus. This is bad. This is what I'm talking about. How many people knew of this crime? How many more people are involved? That's why I said the same thing in the crime against Danishka and her friends. How many more people are involved in that crime?
Documents show that the suspects were all part of that anti-government religious group that I mentioned off the top called God's Misfits. Is this a group that was ever on your radar?
So this is not a group that was on my radar, but what we're seeing now is these domestic extremist groups pop up with the belief that the establishment is overarchingly corrupt. So undoubtedly, they believed in this child custody dispute that they could not get a fair break from the judge, and that they were going to take matters in their own hands.
So in your experience, how does this change the nature of an investigation when the FBI learns that suspects accused of murder are affiliated with a group such as this?
So, Margie, is there a greater conspiracy? Were there other members of the group that knew that this was going to happen, conspired to help them make this happen, to include financial resources or helping dispose of the bodies? So the investigation continues, and the FBI will assist local law enforcement because the murder charge is the most egregious charge, obviously.
And I also wanted to bring up the fact that Veronica Butler was in the middle of a custody battle with her children's grandmother, who is now one of the 4 suspects. Josh, I wanted to play a bit of sound for you because Butler's friend, Buffy Schooley, spoke exclusively to our Chris Cuomo last night. She said she knew it had to do with something with this bitter custody battle as soon as she learned her friend was missing. Take a listen to what she had to say.
She had been going through a terrible battle for quite some time. I didn't know all the all the other parts about her getting harassed and threatened, we didn't talk about that much in our conversations. But I know that she was fighting for her children.
Josh, how do custody battles shift the focus and solvability of an investigation like this?
Well, in the solvability, you have a motive. It was clear from the court affidavit that the grandmother wanted greater control of and custody of those children. And when you look at the God's Misfits and their ideology, plus the purchases, and then of course the crime scene, you can easily determine that there was violence perpetrated, which certainly law enforcement did. So you start with the basis of the fact that there is a motive to conduct this crime.
And just a few seconds left. I mean, now that we have 4 arrests, 2 bodies, what will next steps look like in this case today and in the days to come?
So the investigation will continue. Certainly they have cell phone records to go through. They'll be looking at greater conspiracies I mentioned earlier. Are there other folks a part of God's Misfits that either knew or conspired to help make this happen? And so those interviews and investigative leads will go on.
And we'll see if we also get a positive ID from that medical examiner's office here this week as well. Josh School, always good to have you. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com.
All right, everybody.
On your television provider.
So we got this group, God's Misfits. How many members do they have? Is this a local organization, group? Who founded it? Who founded the group? Who's the ringleader? Who's the secretary? Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Do they take money? They meet up? This is bad. God's Misfits. Misfits. Yeah, you're a misfit. You're a misfit that is currently incarcerated. How about that? As you should be. How long have they been a part of this group? Who's the ringleader? Who founded the group? Have they committed any crimes, murders in the general area? What was next? Because I didn't mean to seem harsh when I said, why did anybody come forward to try to speak on behalf of the 2 women? Because I figured people probably didn't know much about either side of what was going on. There's no way I'm going to know what's going on in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not going to know what's going on in Kansas. There's no way you could possibly know what's going on in another state. That's why I asked how far are these towns from each other? What's the distance? Why didn't anybody want to come forward and speak? I said, the only reason why I can see people not talking is because somebody's been gossiping about the other one. So how small are these towns? Did this woman go around telling people about her problems with the custody? As you heard Buffy say, she didn't know much about her being threatened because she never spoke of that. Now I'm curious to why not. So maybe she wasn't the best of friends with her, but they knew of each other. Same things with the grandmother and her boyfriend. Who all did they talk to about this custody issue? Did she go around town bad-mouthing this woman, giving out her government name? See, you don't really know. But I still was just curious to why nobody wanted to speak in either city. Either town, just to say, yeah, this is a bad situation. You don't have to give anything personal, but just how they go around and ask people, hey, what do you think about this crime? When they were in Kansas, nobody would even talk in the small town, in the little downtown district, which I thought was like, what's really going on here? So now I got to ask myself, did people in the town in Kansas hear of this grandmother and this group and got wind of it? Just curious. More conversations pertaining to this group. More nonsense. More arrests, News Nation, says the friend. Will there be more arrests?
Shockingly, this is not the only similarity between the Oklahoma suspects and the cultists in Waco. I mentioned it earlier, but the probable cause affidavits show that arrest affidavits show that everybody now in custody belongs to a religious/anti-government group called God's Misfits. I've not heard of them before, so we did a little digging. I want to bring in Miranda Ijoldi. She lives in Veronica and Jillian's hometown of Hugoton, Kansas, and she knows the 2 women and their families personally. Miranda,
Okay, so now we finally get information, because this is where I've been trying to connect the two, Kansas and Oklahoma, and how everybody's knowing of each other, because you hear Buffy talking about the boyfriend of the grandma, and then she knows of a woman who was married to him, but she didn't go into details, you know, what she heard or what she learned. So now we hear Kansas, town where she's from. Did she ever live in Oklahoma? That's what I like to know. I guess that's what I'm trying to take this. Did Veronica ever live in Oklahoma? Because I'm trying to connect everybody to everybody. What everybody knew of and what everybody heard. So let's go back a little bit. I don't want to miss anything.
Misfits. I've not heard of them before, so we did a little digging. I want to bring in Miranda Ijoldi. She lives in Veronica and Jillian's hometown of Hugoton, Kansas, and she knows the two women and their families personally. Miranda, thank you so much, and my condolences go out to you and everyone who knew Veronica and Jillian. This has got to be such an incredibly difficult time. I wanted to get your reaction to the arrests that these particular 4 people were brought into custody.
I think the main reaction was relief. We were relieved to have a resolve on the situation.
But surprised at the people in particular who were arrested? Did you think that 4 people would be arrested, despite the fact, the rumors that the grandma had such a cantankerous relationship, not only with her ex-daughter-in-law, they weren't really married, but, you know, common law daughter-in-law. And many in the town said she was very, very, she was scary. That's how they referred to her. They said she was scary.
Yeah. I wasn't personally surprised about the number of people that they arrested. I didn't know who the other players were going to be, but I think I, along with a large number of people in the area, realized that it was going to be Tiffany and Tad, but I'm not surprised that there were more people that were part of it, because it was impossible to pull that off in the window that they had in the broad daylight by themselves. There was no way they could have done it by themselves.
Do you know this name, Paul Grice? Is there any talk around town of who this 5th person is who's mentioned as part of the conspiracy, but not in the arrest lineup? We have heard rumblings that there's a 5th person. Until you just said the name, I had not heard the name yet. No. And then what about the Twombleys? What did you know about Cole and Cora Twombly? Anything?
I would say that I know that they are extremely right-wing, that they have anarchic. I mean, they feel like, and they talk like anarchists. Definitely anti-government. Definitely pro-God, pro-Christ, but I wouldn't call them Christian.
And what about this group, God's Misfits? It was new to me, but I don't spend a lot of time in that very remote part of the Oklahoma Panhandle. So, do you know about God's Misfits? Had you heard about this group before? Is it big? Is it just these people?
I don't think it's just those people, but I had never heard it have a name. There was no name for it. It was just a group of people. And I think I would liken them to feeling like they had God's divine power blessed to them. A
lot of property, nice house, middle of nowhere. What did they do for a living? Ask all the questions.
Feeling like the government was here to steal that from them and use whatever force they had to intervene with their rights and their will, their God-given rights.
Oh, Lordy, what a mess.
Question, do you know anything about this teenage daughter of Cora Twombly, the 16-year-old who obviously we're not mentioning because she's a minor. She's only listed by initials in the arrest affidavit. But she sure did give up the goods on all four of them, and in particular her own mother, and I think, Cole would be her stepfather. Do you know anything about her?
No, I don't.
Had you heard anything about her?
I had only heard like rumblings and stuff that people had posted online, which I don't tend to trust. What other people, I would consider it a rumor or something like that. So no, I hadn't heard anything other than rumors about her playing in the situation. So,
do you expect, Miranda, there'll be more arrests?
Yes, I do think there will be more arrests.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find new.
More arrests. Will there be more arrests? Who's this Paul person they're speaking of? Why is his name mentioned? Probably the ringleader. We'll get to more information pertaining to these people. And so, Grandma, trying to get some information on this Hugoton, Kansas. I think that's the right word. I don't know. It's too much. This shit's too ratchet for me. It's in the county seat of Stevens County, Kansas, as of 2020 census population. Oh, Lord. I don't like this Wikipedia information. 3,747. That's like 4 years ago. So, oh, Lordy. Just trying to get an understanding. I need a map so I can see where the hell this place is. I don't know why I can't get what I'm looking for. As of 2020, if this is the right city, 3,747, give or take, how many people move out. 976 families in Hugoton, 1,355 households. Predominantly white, 61%, 61.8. 51.4 will be non-Hispanic white. 0.48 black, 1.4 Native American or Alaskan Native. Asian, 0%. Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, 23.81%. Other races, 11.85%. Hispanic Latino, 44.6%. So that's about as close to the 60-some% white. Let's see. 28.6% under the age of 18. 8% 18 to 24. 25.8% 25 to 44. 21.9% 45 to 64. And then 15.5% 65 and older. So the highest percentage would be, let's see, 28%. Under the age of 18. So the median age is 35.1. 100%, 100 females, 101.9 males. Just giving you demographics. I don't know. I don't really know what to say, quite frankly. This is all bullshit. Yeah, that's the point. Exactly. The middle of nowhere. You just said it. So, as I said earlier, don't know how many people are in this Misfits group. Don't know Who's the ringleader, the orchestrator, the founder? Are they also racist? Let's ask that question. The suspects, do they hang with other races, Hispanic, Black people, what? How many people in the group are other races? Is this an open group to other races, Native Americans, Blacks, Hispanics, or it's all white? Curious. Let's do a little research. What I don't really want to do. I knew there was more to this bullshit. It's just a feeling I had. Oh, Lordy. News Nation is the only person that's really got some information on this Misfits nonsense. So I'm looking for a private group of these people. Hello, everybody in the chat. Just doing a little research. So you have to be careful what you read on Reddit, because you don't know what's the truth. There's a post on Reddit that says they were lured out there. Well, why would you go somewhere off the beaten path? Now it says this account has been permanently banned. Oh, are you talking about me? With more information. Let me go to Facebook. Because Facebook usually has the most dirt on what people got going on. Hello, everybody in the chat. One moment, please. Doing a little background. Because I'm sure they'd have a Facebook group. All right. Here we go. Facebook is the source, everybody. Hold on. First page has G and M and 2 crosses in the circle. Religious organization, 8 followers. 1 post in the last 2 weeks. We are God's misfits. We're the people who God sent to be the most badass and most dangerous. Then we have another God's misfits that says they have 262 followers. God made people to be individuals. He loves us as we are. We have different likes, dislikes, personalities, sense of humor. Then there's another God's Misfits. It's a musician band. Okay, we're going to look at all the misfits they have on Facebook. God's Misfits Apparel. God's Misfits Musician Band once again. God's Misfits. It's all about God, to spread the word of God to the whole world, to discuss about God's teaching to help love people. Let's go up to the first 2, because it's either one of these groups. Let's start with the one that has the 262 following. It's got the picture of the Bible. Let's show a little research here. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel, everybody. Don't take someone else's word for it. Read it yourself. It's just a group that they were a part of, because there's one other one that I think it might be them. I'm not sure. This one's got 262 followers. Let's do a little research on this group here. Thank you. Oh, man. Will not show you the content for copyrights Because anything you play pertaining to Facebook, just like YouTube, you can get a copyright strike. You can't show any videos. So let's hear what he has to say.
Doubt group is calling themselves God's Misfits, and they've killed some women in Virginia somewhere, Texas, I don't remember, Colorado, I don't remember. Look, this website is dedicated to spreading the love of Jesus Christ. And spreading the love of Jesus Christ does not mean going out and killing anybody.
So I guess he's with this group.
So whoever is stolen what I heard, they're using my logo.
3 hours ago.
I don't know if it was the cross I had on Facebook or if they're using my fish that I created. I'm going to tell you, the devil is at work, folks. And it's amazing. I've got people saying, send me a message that we're a cult and all this sort of. Folks, the devil's at work. Big time.
All right.
God's
Turn that off because I don't want no problems.
Misfits.org is about to look.
All right. So this guy's saying that perhaps this group stole his logo. He doesn't know. Anyway, this God's Misfits has the Bible. And then it says, don't take someone else's word for it. Read it for yourself. So this is allegedly a real Christian group that believes in Jesus Christ Superstar, okay? He's got lots of posts. He's also posted 6 hours ago a picture of Miss Twombly. He says, this is not us. We are not about the love. He says, we are about the love of Jesus. And if you listen to the videos that I have made, you will see that. All right, so we're going to go out of that because I'm not here to dwell on any foolishness. So let's go to the top God's Misfits, the one that's got the 2 crosses in with the GM. It says, you didn't want us, so we turned to God. Yesterday, this is what they posted, this God's Misfits group. God has blessed us with a soon-to-born baby boy as well as myself, a new job. God has been amazing to us this year. Bow with me in prayer, Lord, Heavenly Father. Okay, who is this? Let me see what else they're talking about. That's yesterday. I don't know who these people are. Nonprofit organization. Once again, their intro. We are God's Misfits. We're the people who God sent to be the most badass and most dangerous. So that might be this group here. Because if you're a Christian group and you believe in God and Jesus, we already know that's not a way to talk. And that shouldn't be an intro to your page if you are a Christian and believe in God and Jesus. We're the people who God sent to be the most badass and most dangerous. This is probably them. It's a GM. Let me show you their logo. This is the second group. This is possibly the group that they belong to, okay? All right. I'm not sure. We will see. Nonsense. Once again, is this the group that they belong to? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Well, I'm going to put it like this. You see a lot of people, as I said earlier during this live stream, that a lot of these people you see in the true crime cases, they're all eerily similar, whether they're Jewish, white, black, from abroad here, United States, Hispanic, white, Native American, whatever. You just have some very bitter people, angry people. They're mad at the world. They've got a problem with everybody. They got a problem with the government. They got a problem with the state government. They got a problem with the federal government. They got a problem with the neighbors. They got a problem with the city council. They got a problem with the mayor. They just are mad and angry because they will group everybody into the same category. You against us. And that's what you have here. A bunch of people who probably didn't fit in with society, mad at the world. As you heard people saying, allegedly, this woman called herself, I guess a wrecking ball. She probably was nasty to people, rude to people, brash. Maybe she knows Mr. Chris Proudfoot. I don't know. But the point is, just difficult to deal with. And obviously she had somebody that liked her. She's dating a 43-year-old man who looks like he's fucking 70 years of age. Gray beard, all that. Facial hair and shit. No disrespect to guys who like beards, but come on, 43 years of age, and you look like you're 80 years old. Come on. Dating this older woman. How long have they been dating? How long they been together? How long they been living together? Does he have any children? Now imagine he has children. The boyfriend, Mr. Cole. Does he have children? Are we going to hear somebody come forward and tell us about him and what he was like as a father, a lover? Probably so. Who's going to come forward and talk about the Twomleys? Somebody probably will. Are they a part of this group, GM, with the double crosses? Is this their group? Because I don't see anything as far as posts with this group. Let me see their about page. God's Misfits list of followers is unavailable, of course. You don't want nobody to know who's following you. Let's see who their contact basic information. Don't have a rating yet. Page transparency. Creation date, March 24th. So when did the women go missing? Somebody in the chat know when they went missing? No ads, and they don't have any other administrations. This is strange. March 24th. They started this the 24th, so let me go when the women went missing. Hold on. Everything's about timeline. March 30th. Hot damn. That good old queen. Go back. Come on now. Date Kansas moms went missing. 2 women went missing March 30th when Butler's car was found abandoned in rural Texas County, Oklahoma. The group was started March 24th. Well, it says here March 30th. Yeah, and another article says the same thing, March 30th. Another one says March 30th. So let's go here. March 30th was the day they went missing. The group, if we're to believe this is the group with the double crosses and the GM, It was started March 24th. Stay woke. That's just 6 days before the abduction, kidnapping, and murder of 2 women. Possibly a correlation. See, this is why I always say ask all the questions, because this is how you get, it's okay. This is how you get to the bottom of a story. Instead of listening to rumors and rhetoric, you go to the belly of the beast. What did I say? Go to Facebook, because Facebook always has the grit and the grime. So now we have this group. Don't know if this is the actual group, but let's just say that it is. It was started 6 days before the women just so happened to go missing. Is this the group? The GM with the double crosses in the circle? Because this might be evidentiary material. Start this group. See if we get some following. Exactors crime. Obviously was planned out. I brought you commentary yesterday where the son's, the boyfriend said, it's been planned since February. So did they know about the court date in April and February? Stay woke. So you have to ask all the questions. Did this court date for this woman to go to court about her children, did she know about the court date back in February? Because that will be interesting as well to tie in when did the plot get into motion. Because if they had 2 months ahead of time to know about the court date, they had time naturally to plot the deaths of this woman. And as you see, she knew who was going to be coming with her, Miss Tiffany. She didn't want that person hurt, but she definitely wanted the woman dead and didn't care about somebody else going along and dying with her. And my other information said she didn't care about the other lady dying. She's part of the problem too. That's what I heard last night. You helped her. Well, what do you mean that's their job? That's their job. If the court recommends that somebody goes along with the mother, father, whomever, to a said location to pick up their children, visit their children, that is the state worker's job. So don't try to act like you had so much feelings for this other state worker that you told her, hey, don't go, something's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then this other innocent person steps in. They were doing their job. That's why I told everybody. Imagine the 3 other people who didn't go on this trip. Imagine what they're thinking right now. Damn, that could have been me. And that one lady's probably thinking, I'm glad she called me. Told me not to come. She thought of me, but she didn't think about them other women. She didn't think about Jillian. Jillian don't have a dog in the race. That's her job. As you also hear commentary that I just played you, small town in Kansas, these people know of each other, the worker and Miss Veronica. So now I got to ask that question. Did Veronica know this lady personally? Did they ever see each other out and about in the city, bump into each other, church, grocery store, so on and so forth? This is a diabolical story here. This ain't nothing but some old redneck trash bullshit. This is straight gutter trash, gutter gator trash out of Oklahoma. Just a bunch of hillbilly ass misfits with nothing to do, nothing to focus on. Because this is how I feel. If you would do this, God knows you would do anything. So that's why I said we need to get a background on all these people, what they've been doing in their spare time while hooping and hollering and worrying about Veronica Butler. And better pray they don't have any more followers walking around. Maybe this is what the detectives and the state police dug up when everybody was wondering what was going on, and they found out about this Misfits groups and thought, well, we don't know how many other people might be involved and have knowledge of what they were plotting and planning. So hell yeah, we don't want nobody talking. We don't want nobody saying anything. Because I was just trying to figure out what was all the secrecy about. Because I thought, well, we're talking about 2 separate states. What is, are you worried about these people retaliating? because somebody else come forward to bring information about them. That's why I was thinking to myself, well, how would anybody in Kansas know about what the hell's going on in Oklahoma? It's two separate states. So why would I know anything about what's going on in Oklahoma if I just said, oh, I hate to hear that my friend passed away. Yeah, she told me she's having a custody dispute, but maybe the detectives had been seeing and hearing things about Miss Tiffany, her boyfriend, other people, this Misfits group, Misfits group, and they didn't want nobody to talk to us, so nobody would get hurt, no retaliation, because they don't know how many other people are connected to this woman. And then you got to ask yourself that, when did they find out that the Twombeys were involved? I'm very curious to find that out. Because naturally, once they realized the woman was going, to Oklahoma for a custody visit or pick up her children, when did law officials find out about the Twombeys? That's what I'm curious about. Or did they do the raid, arrested the couple, and then she talked? Because my understanding is she's talked. Because she's giving them information about the custody and these allegations about the child being assaulted. So maybe she told, oh yeah, by the way, we had two other people that helped us. What's the truth? Let's get down to Riley Strain, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Subject matter number 3. Vinnie Politan has just uploaded content pertaining to this story. If you're interested in watching any of his commentary, more nonsense pertaining to Riley Strain. I don't know where this is going, but this is baffling to me. Right now, they have people on the bridge, protesters in San Francisco. Don't know what that's all about, but Lord have mercy. Okay, let's see what News Nation has about this Misfit stuff. Hold on. And then we'll get to Riley Strain. Woo, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. So much for my OJ content.
In the search for Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly, who were last seen March 30th, investigators recovered 2 bodies in the area over the weekend. And while they have not yet been positively identified, 4 people are now charged in connection to the disappearances. And we're finally learning some more about them and their pasts. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Inton now live there in Oklahoma. Brian, obviously this case continues to unfold, to develop. What is the latest there as of right now?
There's been shocking developments, it seems like every day, Nicole. Sorry to join you from the car. We've been racing around, chasing different leads, going back and forth between Kansas and Oklahoma. All of this happening really right on the border between the two states. I want to show you, though, we have some new video, this right here. This is video from one of the properties connected to one of the suspects. His name is Tad Cullum. He's the boyfriend of Grandma Tiffany Adams, who's sort of been at the center of this whole thing. We were over at that property. There were a number of police officers there, and they actually towed, you can see right there, they were towing a white trailer. There is something significant about that trailer, we are told, and that is the reason police wanted to take it into evidence. And what's interesting, Nicole, is we have heard from witnesses that they saw that white trailer in the area of where the 2 moms were killed. So it is possible that that is the trailer that was used to transport the bodies. That is obviously something police are investigating right now. Again, it's been a wild couple of days as this has come together. Grandma Tiffany Adams had been planning to kill the mother of her grandchildren. According to the affidavit, there was this very, very contentious custody dispute that had been ongoing that seems to be at the center of this whole thing. We've learned that there was a previous attempt and plan to actually kill the victims before. That's something that we continue to look into. And both, actually all 4 of the suspects will be in court tomorrow. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more, Nicole.
Let's hear what he says again about
come together. Grandma Tiffany Adams had been planning to kill the mother of her grandchildren. According to the affidavit, there was this very, very contentious custody dispute that had been ongoing that seems to be at the center of this whole thing. We've learned that there was a previous attempt and plan to actually kill the victims before. We continue to look into, and both, actually all 4 of the suspects will be in court tomorrow. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more, Nicole.
And there are so many layers to all of this, because as we can see on our screen at the bottom, they were God's Misfits group. This is a religious cult group. What can you tell us about it? Because the accused killers are allegedly part of this group.
Yeah, so this is apparently a very, very secretive group in this area. We did not know that this was part of the puzzle until the affidavits came out. And this is something that investigators discovered that all 4 of the suspects had in common. Again, the name of the group is God's Misfits. And we are told that it is an anti-government group that has a religious affiliation. They hold meetings in the area. And again, all 4 of the suspects, according to police, were a part of this group. Now, did it actually really have anything to do with the murders? That we don't know. Again, all indications are that the murders were really focused around this custody dispute. But now that we know that there's this anti-government group involved, God's Misfits, it's something that we're going to continue to look into, Nicole.
Rule America.
You will be getting answers. All right, Brian Enton live there in Oklahoma. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation now.
So now you get a little more information. Trailer pulled, very long trailer, about the size of a school bus. We also heard that the Twombies used their truck for something. So how does their truck play into this trailer? Make it make sense, everybody. How does the Twombies truck play into the trailer? Because they had their daughter, 16-year-old daughter, clean out their truck. So what did the daughter clean out? What will she testify to via a police report and later down the road in court? What she cleaned out? The truck? How did the truck look? Was there blood? Any type of soil? Anything? Did she see her parents bloody? Any clothes washed, thrown away? What did the child see? Where is she now? Who has custody of her? When did this group start, this God's Misfits? I just brought you 2 groups that I saw on Facebook pertaining to this title. There are a few titles with the same name, bands, music bands, so on. But one guy has spoken out publicly, a white man, to say, this is not our group. We talk about Jesus Christ, the Bible, blah, blah, blah. We're not for killing women and children. So then we scratched him off. Then we go to the other group that's got the GM in a circle with 2 crosses, and their logo is about being badasses and sent to wreak havoc. So I'm assuming that might be the group. And secretive, yes, because as you see when I went on the page, it will not tell you who their followers are, okay? And they got at least under 300 followers. So who are the followers? Are they all local of Oklahoma or other jurisdictions? Will the FBI be also looking into getting the information of who is following the page? Are they talking amongst themselves through Messenger, blah, 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 personal phone numbers? Possibly so. Did this group of people start that Facebook group that I showed you? GM with the 2 crosses. Cross up here and a cross over here, then the G, then the M. Is that the secretive group? Are they the only ones in the group? But if you have followers, somebody's listening to the rhetoric. You also hear that they had meetings. Meetings where? On the property, at the house. I think they also went to the Twombies and talked, if I'm not mistaken, if that's information I had played for you earlier, that they would go over there to talk, have coffee, and probably shoot the shit about Veronica. You also hear that they have made attempts to try to kill her before. When was that? See, this is why I asked, how long has this woman had the children? How long has the mother been without her children? How did she lose custody? All this is relevant. Everything is relevant. Allegations, how she lost her children, how long the boyfriend or whatever had the kids, how did his mother get the children, did a judge legally give the children to the woman, or he just gave his mother physical custody because he went into rehab? Or did she take the children because he was acting out doing stuff before he went to rehab? Why was he mandated to go to rehab? Was he mandated to go, or he went on his own? I can't remember. I can't keep up because this is just as I said, a straight gutter hillbilly story. That's all this is that you're listening to. A bunch of misfits who have nothing better to do than, instead of living decent lives and working every day and enjoying the wealth of the land and what they got, they're too busy trying to plot deaths of people. And let me tell you, if you're willing to kill this woman and kill the worker, they would be willing to kill other people. So they would be a threat to the country walking around. Because you can't just say, well, they're only going to kill people related to who they don't like. It doesn't matter. They're still a threat. You know, it's easy to say that on TV. Oh, we believe we got everybody. Oh, they're not a threat to nobody else. Oh, this wasn't random. Well, you killed that worker. She's random. She's not best friends with this Veronica person. They haven't said that they were best friends. They didn't say that they were related. So if you killed her, you killed somebody else. Somebody else had to intervene, gotten away, was an eyewitness. You would have killed them too. Why not? It's bad business. Bring you more as I get the information, everybody. Prosecutors set to respond to Scott Peterson's request for more DNA. That's the latest update. They said jury convicted Scott Peterson of murder without physical evidence. That's the latest. Now we got a new lawsuit against Kanye West. Law and crime. New lawsuit against Kanye West. Lord have mercy. And Ruby Frankie's husband has slapped Jody Hildebrand with a lawsuit. We will talk about that at a later date. I got so many updates. I cannot keep up with all this. Raleigh Strain, everybody. Let's see what's the latest. What a mess. What a mess. Thank you for joining me.
Half past the hour on your Tuesday. Now to another case we've been following closely from day one. The family of college student Riley Strain, who was found dead in a river in Nashville, says the facts from the night he died, they just don't add up. Riley disappeared after he was kicked out of a bar on March 8th. He was in Nashville with his fraternity brothers and friends from the University of Missouri for their formal that weekend. But now, weeks after his body was found, it's a text message that Riley sent to his mom that night that's bothering her. She shared that message with senior national correspondent Brian Enton during their exclusive sit-down interview. Brian joins me live now. Brian, what was the text message that he sent to mom, and why was it so disturbing to her?
Yeah, this is the first time that the family is talking about this. It was really a very, very emotional interview, Mark. You can imagine Riley was missing the beginning of March. His body was discovered in Nashville a couple of weeks later. We obviously covered the story really extensively. Their focus was so much on finding Riley, but now they say that they've sort of had a moment to process all of this as they continue to grieve. There are so many more questions and things that have come up, and one of those questions has to do with the text message that you just mentioned. It's a conversation that Riley had with his mother before he went missing and left the bar about the way his drink tasted. And again, this is the first time she has spoken about this, but it could be very, very important when it comes to what happened here. Listen to what she told me, Marky.
He had sent me a text and said that he had ordered he was drinking a rum and coke and it didn't taste good. And I said, well, you probably shouldn't drink it then. He goes, well, it tastes like barbecue. And I go, well, that sounds awful. And he said, well, it sounds good, but it's not.
When a rum and coke normally tastes the same, I mean, that's not something that you really normally taste any different.
Right.
And it has a very consistent taste.
Yes, yes. And that's why I'm like, you probably shouldn't drink that then.
Do you think that could have something to do with what happened?
Yeah, maybe there was something in it that shouldn't have been.
And so, Marky, the family is zeroing in on questioning, could this have had something to do with him disappearing that night? Could he have been roofied? Is this the reason that he ended up in the river? It's something they're looking into, and it's a new revelation we're going to get into tonight. We're going to have the full conversation on Banfield tonight. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern, Marky.
Yeah, it makes no sense that that drink would have tasted like barbecue. And I know the two of them had a close relationship, right? I mean, this was a mother and son who checked in multiple times a day with one another. And Brian, are police still actively, investigating as to what happened that night, or has that kind of been called off?
Yeah, well, first to the first part of what you said, I think it's one of the most heartbreaking things about this whole story is that they were so close, that mom and son. He was an only child. You know, he had been FaceTiming her from the bar that night. They talked all the time, and she knew her son very well. And she says it doesn't make sense, she says, the way that it's explained to her that all of this went down. She's really, really interested in that drink. And the investigation, the police say it's pretty much not ongoing right now. They are waiting on the toxicology results, but there is now a state investigation that we've learned about, which is also new, which could be zeroing in on what happened in the bar that has to do with the drink. And that's something else we're going to talk about for the first time tonight on Badfield.
Yeah, we'll be watching closely. That family has been in our thoughts and prayers, and I know you've kept a spotlight on it yourself. Brian, thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good.
All right.
Happened that night, or has that kind of been called off?
Yeah, well, first to the first part of what you said, I think it's one of the most heartbreaking.
I'm going to just get a picture of Mr. Strain. Hold on one second, everybody. Riley Strain. State investigation. That's possibly to see if he was overserved. I brought you content about that a month or so ago. Alcohol board is investigating the bar. So we have a investigation into the bar. Bartender, manager, whomever served him a drink. Who is that person that served him? Was it the same person that served him? We only hear of him buying one drink. You also got to ask, was he inebriated when he walked into the bar? He had also been to another bar beforehand. So was he legally drunk when he walked into the bar? Number one. Did he become more intoxicated with this drink? Was he drugged by the bartender or whomever else? That's why you have to ask all the questions. Did he receive only one drink? Did somebody else give him a sip of a drink from another glass, cup, beer bottle? Tastes like barbecue. Why would his drink taste like barbecue? Why are we just now hearing this? This is all bizarre to me. Why are we just now hearing about the drink tasting like barbecue? We learned that he talked to his mother beforehand, going to that bar, talking to her. Strange text from the girlfriend. Maybe he, misspelled some things about whatever. Now we're hearing a month later that the drink tasted strange, tasted like barbecue. The mother said maybe you shouldn't drink it, so he drank it anyway. We also hear that he got put out of the bar. Nobody's telling us why he got put out of the bar, what behavior was exhibited besides him just being inebriated. Once again, I refuse to believe that he was the only inebriated person in the bar. So why was he kicked out of the bar? Why didn't a friend walk out with him or somebody else walk out with him? Why in the world would you let your friend walk out of a bar in a strange city and they've been kicked out of a bar? This makes no fucking sense to me. And you've had many people comment on the story. Some men would say, well, I'm not responsible. I'm out having a good time. I'm not babysitting. Some guys would say, well, you kick out one, you kick us all out. What happened? Was he exhibiting odd behavior because, one, he was drunk, or he was roofie and he was acting peculiar? But seemed like to me he would be more sluggish if he was roofied. Stay woke. Because if you're roofie, I don't see that you would be acting out. You would be going to a state of unconsciousness, not feeling good, feeling dizzy, feeling sick. So what's the truth? Was he roofied? Will the toxicology reports come back to show some type of drug in his system, which is in comparison to a Molly roofie? We will see. No further investigations by the Nashville Police Department. Because once they get the autopsy back to say there's no blunt force trauma, no gunshot, no stabbing, they're not going to continue to investigate unless they get information to say otherwise. Are they still talking to the Nashville Police Department, the parents? We also get more information about the he said, she said of a homeless person. Let's take a look at that nonsense. That was the latest a week ago. This is becoming more and more this case, and I just don't know how far it can go, because now you got to decide if you believe this information about the homeless person, because now this person has recanted the information. They found this person, looking for this person, Chris Dingaman tells us, and then when the police get involved to talk to the person, he's recanted his version. Why is that? Please check out the Queen's latest content on the Menendez brothers. This case here, the Milwaukee murder suspects. Got a lot of content. Okay, let's see. Got a lot. And I also got to bring you content pertaining to O.J. Simpson. Thank you so very much. I thought there was supposed to be some type of services today, but I haven't heard anything, so I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just looking through my library because I had the story about Riley Strain. I may have passed it already. Well, let me see. Let me see if this is the content up here. You get to see all the lovely things that the Queen watches, because my library is extensive. Lord have mercy. I watch a lot of crazy nonsense. YouTube, of course. This guy right here, 26 years in prison, sexual assault of a minor. Police officer in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, sits outside of Knoxville, government town, houses the atomic bomb, for those who did not know. Let me see if this is the content here. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Part 3, Riley Strain. A lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense. Oh, Lordy, I don't know where this is going.
Huge. That was something we had been looking for.
The Riley?
That was huge. That was something we had been looking for.
The Riley Strain case continues to unfold. Weeks after the body of the University of Missouri student was found in Nashville's Cumberland River, family friend Chris Dingman says they have received intel from the alleged last person who spoke to Riley before he went missing. During an interview with News Nation April 10th, Chris, who has spoken on behalf of the family several times since Riley's body was discovered, shares a significant development in the case.
Person of interest that the family had been wanting to see, the homeless person that we knew had been the last person to talk to Riley up on top of the roadway, we got to talk to finally. He actually reached out Saturday afternoon to some friends of ours that was down there talking with the homeless. Actually gave a statement, him and another person, that Riley had come through there, had been stumbling, possibly stumbled into the little fence that's right there. They asked him if he was okay. He says, yeah, man, I'm just drunk, something along those lines. And they put him walking underneath the bridge north, past through the detention center area. That was huge. That was something we had been looking for.
However, in response to Chris's interview, a spokesperson for the Nashville Police Department tells E! News that a person who originally came forward has since recanted their statement. Following detective interrogation, the person says that they had not actually seen Riley, but someone else. The case remains open. Riley, who disappeared on the evening of March 8th during his fraternity's trip to Nashville, was found 8 miles away from where he was last seen in the Cumberland River March 22nd. At the time his body was recovered, the 22-year-old was wearing the shirt he had on the night he went missing, as well as his watch, authorities said, but his boots, pants, and wallet were all missing. After an initial autopsy found no foul play to be involved in Riley's passing, the college student's death was declared accidental. And while Riley's family, which includes mother Michelle Whittied and stepfather Chris Whittied, as well as father Ryan Gilbert and stepmother Millie Gilbert, have not made a public statement regarding this new development, Chris says the family believes something more than their son simply falling into the river led to his death. The late student's family ordered a second autopsy, during which the coroner found there was no water in his lungs, which Chris told News Nation last month could be a sign of something more sinister.
One thing that threw the family for a loop was, the coroner going on record with a news person in Nashville stating about the lack of water in his lungs. it raises more questions. You know, I'm not a crime drama person by no means, but usually water in the lungs means that, you know, they were alive when they went into the water.
E-News is the source. Thank you for joining me. This is the third subject pertaining to this live stream, Riley Strain. I don't know what is going on with this family and these wacko, weird-ass people that keep running up to them, telling them things, and there's been no verification so far of anything that these people have said is true. We went down the rabbit hole a month or so ago about the shirt, and you see he floated up with the shirt on, okay? Now we have somebody saying they talked to him going under the bridge, but then when the police gets involved, they recant their story and say it was another guy. Are these people just clout chasing? They see the story, they've heard of the story, and now they want them 2 minutes of fame or want attention. I don't get it. But you do have people who do this. They want to be a part of the story. And I've learned that in being up here on YouTube and bringing content and storylines to YouTube. It's the same BS. It's the same shenanigans. People wanting to be a part of something. People wanting to reach out. I've seen it so many times in the stories that I've covered. I really noticed that when I talked about Camille McKinney and the West Boys, and also Summer Wells. Each one was a stepping stone to the other story. People wanted to reach out to the family members. Oh, I want to give them my condolences. I want to tell them this. I want to tell them what the tarot card said. I want to tell them what the spirit box said. I want to tell them my dream. I want to tell them what I heard. Why? This is a sign that you are mentally defunct. Just randomly wanting to reach out to these people. Even with doing what I'm doing here, does not mean that people have the right to talk to me or give me information or tell me how they feel or come on the network to give their opinion about what happened or their involvement in what happened. That's their right, the right to privacy. I don't have to like it. So it doesn't matter if I'm a YouTuber, a podcaster, however you want to call it, news reporter, or a person chatting. You cannot expect people to just, you know what I'm saying, do what you think they should do. It doesn't work like that. And that's what you have here in this situation. Random people getting themselves, immersing themselves in the case when they don't have a dog in the race. They don't know anything. They don't know the victim. They don't know the family members. They don't know nothing. They just want to be seen and heard. And you see this a lot with true crime. This is why talking about it is daunting to me, because all the people behave the same. It's bad enough that a person is unalive or a person is missing. A child is missing. A child is unalive. Then you have all these clout chasers wanting to be a part of the story, want to make up stuff, want to jump in the story, want to act like they know something, they saw something, they heard something. I personally don't understand why these people want to continue talking to these random ass people. That's just who I am. Because right now we don't know what is the truth. All we know is what the medical examiner has said. You got a second autopsy and it says there was no water in the lungs. Is that actually true? Because now I'm starting to wonder what is the truth to anything that we're hearing. But I would not keep going out here looking for people, because when you show that you are that you're desperate to get more answers and get whatever it is you're looking for, people will feed off of that. And right now, I feel like that's what's going on in Nashville. They're thirsty, hungry people wanting to feed off of your desperation that you think more is to the story. I'm not here to say there isn't more or there is more. All I'm saying is you need to be leery of going out here looking, because that's that old saying, seek and ye shall find. You're out here searching for something because you think there's more to his death, and you might find more than what you bargained for. And right now, what I'm seeing, they're seeking people who are lying and making up stuff. Because if there's no blunt force trauma, no wounds to the body, you can't make it be more than that. So now we have the mother coming forward. She has now spoken out since this commentary by E! That she talked to the son that night. The drink tasted like barbecue, he says, but he drank it anyway. We then learned he got put out of the bar, walked around the city for 15, 20 minutes, and somehow ended up in the river with no water in his lungs, underwear, shirt on, no pants, no belt allegedly, no wallet, no phone, had a watch on, also missing boots. What is the truth to Mr. Strain making it into the river? Did he have an altercation under the river Did somebody hit him, knock him out, but it didn't show up on his body? That would be strange to me. Was he roofied and then fell out, hit his head, died, and then rolled into the water? And that's why there's no water in his lungs. I don't know. But I would stop talking to these people in Nashville. I would, personally. I would not go out looking for anybody else. I would stop running around these homeless camps looking for people, because right now you've got 2 sets of lies pertaining to Riley Strain. So that should be an indicator to stop seeking out these people. And it's not here to judge homeless people. It's not here to judge the woman who thought she saw a guy with the shirt on, because it could have been a shirt that was similar or identical, but it wasn't Riley Strain's shirt. There comes a point when you have to accept that maybe what you think happened didn't. Now, when you get the autopsy of the toxicology report, if the report shows he was roofied with a roofie type drug, then you can go into the direction of saying who put it in his drink. Then you have something more to go on. Then you got to also tie that into what happened under the bridge, near the bridge. Did he fall, hit his head, died, bled out, or what? Because you can't be, alive rolling into the water? I just don't know where this is going. Be truthful. I don't know where this is going. Even the issue with the car being found. The water was higher allegedly. So now you got to ask yourself, how was it found in that area? The car could have easily floated in either direction. Cross the river, up the river, down back that way to the river. Because I'm supposed to believe a car just sits there and floats the whole time for a week or more. It's all bizarre. All bizarre information. That's the latest, everybody. I will be back later to bring you commentary pertaining to O.J. Simpson. Then I will bring you another live stream pertaining to this information about Riley Strain that Mr. Enton's going to bring tonight. Any more information about the Kansas women? Any new update pertaining to updates pertaining to the court hearing? That'll be tomorrow. So I'll try to bring you commentary about that tomorrow. I had plans to bring you commentary about John Wayne Gacy tomorrow, but now all this extra stuff just keeps putting me back, keeps pushing me back from my content because of all this extra nonsense. But anywho, I'll try to tie them all together if I can. But this is a 3-part live pertaining to the Kansas women. We're waiting on a proper ID of the women. No information has been released pertaining to, blood, manner of death, so on and so forth. But that was leaked out a week or so ago. But it is believed that these are the women. We will wait on confirmation. The suspects, 4 of them, will be going to court tomorrow. We will see what happens in court. As far as Riley Strain, waiting on the toxicology reports. New information from the parents. They have spoken to Mr. Enton that the drink tasted like barbecue, says the decedent to the mother that night. They talked on the phone. So then you got to ask that as well. Was it a text or an actual phone call? If you're in a bar, it's very hard to hear people talking. So I'm assuming he texted her. I don't know. She didn't say. So weird. And also, the second topic is pertaining to Danishka Mieja, 22 years of age, found deceased in a home. Police will not reveal her manner of death. But 2 other people were shot in that house. That young lady who was in that house, 23 years of age, was pregnant. So there's a murder charge on that baby. There was also another male, same age, 23. He was in there, Mr. Thaxton, Miss Young and Mr. Thaxton. They survived their injuries. And then the suspect was shot, Mr. Latawyne Osbourne. He and 2 other culprits. I'm winded. Murder charges, attempted murder, kidnapping, burglary, rape. All 3 men. And then Mr. Osborne's mother charged with accessory after the fact and tampering with evidence. What did she do exactly? Thank you, Pinto. What did she do exactly as far as tampering with evidence, accessory? Did she hide him out? Possibly so. Gave him another phone. Washed some clothes. What are we talking about? These other 2 guys, they're also on the charge of rape. Did they rape her at that house with him? This is all some bizarre stuff. Just bizarre to me. I'm just going to say this during this live stream because I think I need to say this. There will be a 360-degree turn on this network starting the moment right now. I'm done with just bullshit. I'm tired and I'm fed up with what I'm seeing with this these cases, these terrible cases, and I'm just tired of certain things in general. So as I said, 360-degree change starting right now. You all have a wonderful week. Please check my community board for said updates and polls. I will put more polls up this evening. And also, I have a movie of the week. It is a TV series now free on Tubi. It's called The Burning Girls. If you would like to check that series out this week for your entertainment. But that's the latest I have. And I want to thank you all so much for watching this network, tuning in, those who have donated to the network, $sign Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome. Thank you for those who have donated in the past and those who continue to donate. And you watching is also a form of donation. Thank you so very much. But I want to thank you all for your continued support. But as I said, starting right now, 360 degrees. You all take care. God bless you. This is the Vault XL. Thank you.